Well, this is the third time playing through River Survival mode, but this time we have different selection of playable characters. As you can see, we actually got ourselves the returning Mario Party 4 host characters, except Toad, because you know, Toad was already the host character of this particular title. So, but even then though, we are about to be able to, selecting Goomba for this time around, for this throughout. And the computer players, as far as our teammates, as far as they're concerned, is Shy Guy, and Boo, and Koopa Troopa. So even then, and our playable choice for this particular run-through is Goomba. In this case, the new playable character in the Mario Party series. So, yeah, because, he's already been through, like, in a somewhat several spin-off Mario titles. Like, for instance, for example, that he did manage to participate in baseball twice. Even then for Mario Superstar Baseball, and especially noticeable with Mario Super Sluggers, and you name the rest. So, but even then though, let's just hopefully we can able to actually get ourselves even slightly bit of a more time than he forms of the likes of how he does it from the previous run-throughs of this particular point. But, we'll see what happens there. So, yeah, today was actually forms of the 4th of May in 2019. So at this point, that there won't be any more new discussions, I'm afraid, because I'm pretty sure enough though is that Sonic already mentioned about these quite a few things actually ever since in his continuation of his Kingdom Hearts Final Mix Let's Play, and as a result of that edition, that, well, we pretty much sorted for the most part. Although, there's one particular, point we'd like to discuss upon for this point, is the fact that recently, during the likes of been a few days ago, that we did manage to win to see, Avengers Endgame. See, Fernando, whenever we, managed to watch it for our first time run through it on the big screen, despite the fact that it was actually 3 hours long, even way more longer than the forms of how it does it on the Avengers Age of Ultron, or Ultron, I'm pretty sure that's what the actual name is called, and especially noticeable with Infinity War from last year, so even though that is definitely way more longer than the forms of how it does it on the previous films. And as far as we've seen it, we really enjoyed it though, even then, because even then, well, we're not going to spoil things too much about it for those of you adventurers out there, well, the adventure fans, as far as I'm concerned for this matter, that if you ever guys have not seen this film yet, well, we probably promise you guys we're not going to spoil things too much about this, including the ending, because even then, that, I'll let you guys to see it for yourself. And then, if I watched it, I actually did really enjoy it. Yeah, me too. Even that Shadow and Silver did manage to able to enjoy it as well, because, if you couldn't tell for this point, is the fact that me, Shadow and Silver, including you, Pinkie Pie, did manage to able to actually get a chance to watch it. Yeah, which is true, because even then though, that after all, we did manage to watch, 2 adventure films so far, whilst we still have not seen the first one or the second installments yet, just because, well, we've definitely heard about those 2 from before, but, honestly, I didn't have enough chance to able to actually see those 2 just yet. Although, as far as I've noticed, is the fact that those 2 films did manage to available on Netflix, which we managed to still have it on our Xbox 360 for the time. Yeah, but even then though, that way we can able to actually watch it alternatively, if we decide able to actually go for that. So, yeah, that's as far as I can say when it comes to today's video actually. So even then, apart from that though, we'll just have to mainly focusing on River Survival mode as far as this point right now. Yeah, truth be told, because even then, I don't think there's any Nintendo Switch announcements, I'm afraid, until next month or so. And because that's kinds of traditions like this, there won't be any Nintendo Directs until next month at this point. Meaning, about the fact that with, with the actual, like, news, discussions, or anything like that for that relatable and anything like that, meaning this is gonna be feels pretty much limited when it comes to, commentary and stuff, because even then, I just felt a little bit too, I think I hate to say for this point, guys, I think we're actually gone pretty rusty at the moment, ever since, the very beginning of the year. So even then, I must admit though, right away, I must admit I do apologize for that point. So, oh great, we actually did lost that balloon over there, because obviously, we didn't steer to the actual right, far enough from it. So, and of course, then we need to get into, like, should we take the left route? Yeah, I think we'll mostly go to the left route, actually, just because, well, at this point is the fact that whenever we get to, like, the odd number, playthroughs, especially with, the even-numbered playthroughs, that we're actually going to be going through different routes as much as we can. Yeah, especially noticeable whenever we get to that certain point, that we've already seen most of these areas of River Survival Mode, basically, although there are some exceptions, mind you, which, will show this off by then. So, generally speaking, you get the idea for that. So, but I digress though. See, Nintendo, hopefully this particular run-through will be, I would say, as far as you can clearly tell from our, the actual video's timeline, this is going to be one of the shortest videos out of the bunch with these River Survival videos. Most notably because of how the fact that, well, unlike in most other runs of this particular game so far, even then we actually did have ourselves a pretty slow start. Just because of how the fact that we actually constantly missing those minigame balloons by that time. Oh, can we make it to the S rank? Come on, come on, come on! Yes! Whew. That was pretty close, because if we go below 10 seconds, then we're obviously gonna get ourselves the A rank instead. So, but so far so good anyway, when it comes to the minigames and stuff like that, like all in all S ranks and stuff like that. But most of the time though, getting the actual minigame balloons can get pretty tricky sometimes. I think it's most notably because, well, you know, it sometimes managed to able to actually get ourselves missed opportunities that we might ended up accidentally bypass them completely. So, although there's one thing I forgot to mention about this actually, is the fact that, as you can see on the actual rafting vehicle department, is that Shy Guy, Koopa Troopa, and Goomba especially did have their little tiny stands they can able to actually just stand them on. You know, kind of like how he did on the forms of how he does it on that particular minigame in Mario Party 9 called, especially with the top 100 especially as well, even though despite the fact that the top 100 does not contain Toad, Koopa Troopa, Shy Guy, and Kamek playable characters this time around though, which is kind of sad, but even then though, that's, I'm still very glad that Super Mario Party did manage to improve upon the character roster so far, because even then, well, not to be expected at this point, because even then, I don't know if they're gonna be revealing some DLC for the time soon, but even then, we'll see what happens then until when it gets to this year's E3. And in fact, we haven't got that long left now, especially because we've only got about a month to go until the Nintendo's E3, you know, Direct announcements. So even then, I don't know if we can able to actually mention about this for that at this point, although apart from the fact that I believe I assume to say, I'm pretty sure Piglet needs to able to actually discuss upon that specific categories and stuff like that, because even then, that way we can able to actually mention about some more details onto this, including whenever we almost nearly done with the actual Super Mario Party Let's Play before they're going to be announcing the next new Mario Party game at some point soon. But again, we'll find things out sooner enough, but even then, that's as far as we can able to go. So, anyways, though, let's steer from the right here. And I'm pretty sure enough that we've already explored this place before, so even then, though, that way we can able to actually can tell. I believe most of the time, though, is the fact that most of these obstacle courses, even with the different sections and stuff, sometimes the actual layouts doesn't really change that much. Although the only time it's changed if you manage to get into the actual, like, different branching pathways you can take. Well, if you come across into new paths, or especially noticeable with, like, you know. Alright, so go with the flu once again. See, even then, no, I believe we're gonna be in his second go and stuff like that. So, but anyways, let's go ahead and just use the fan to able to manipulate the actual balloon's momentum, even with the actual red toad, as you can see right there. And, again, not much else to really talk about this, to be honest with you guys, apart from the fact that, well, I believe this, as far as I can say, is the fact that this particular commentary is going to be pretty much bare bones as you would think, especially because of how the fact that, well, obviously there won't be any, Nintendo-related news anytime soon, apart from the fact that, well, until when it gets to the point until, like, 6 days left, actually, is the fact that Pokemon Detective Pikachu movie will be on its way into it at some point in 6 days' time. Or for this method though, Pinkie Pie, it might be a little bit lesser than that, because again, UK's time is actually a little bit more different compared to the forms of how it does it from most of the other countries. Yeah, even for the actual time zones and stuff like that, so... But even then though, once again, we got ourselves a nice glorious S rank. So even then, it looks like we don't seem to able to come across into like an A rank or lower than that anytime soon. Well, until when it gets to the point until the next 5 run-throughs after the, you know, the first time going through River Survival Mode first. But even then, because of that though, we'll explain more details onto that soon enough. So, but I digress, let's go and get these little timers once again. So even then, at this point, especially with the River Survival Mode at this point, is the fact that we keep on switching between those characters, even then, because this game gets a grand total of 20 playable characters, which is actually quite big in the Mario Party series at this point. Well, unless if you really want to count Star Rush for that matter, because in that game usually contains about 19 playable characters, if you're including like the usual normal, you know, the usual gang 12 playable characters, and especially notable with 4 different colored Toads on Toad Scramble mode, and especially notable with 3 additional playable characters in Mario Shuffle mode, which is Bowser, Bowser Jr., and of course Boo. Yeah, but technically speaking, that those figurines didn't come to life after all, so even then though, it's always at one mode. So, at least I'm very grateful about the fact that Boo, Bowser Jr., and Bowser himself will become fully playable in this game. So even then though, at least I expected that. But anyways though, we go into the next minigame here. I was assuming that the actual layout of the actual, like, the course is actually a little bit different now, because it's not going to be like somewhat of a lines, or in this case straight lines or horizontal lines. So even then, yeah, it kind of reminds me of that particular obstacle course from that Paths of Peril minigame from Mario Party 4, and especially with Mario Party the Top 100 version as well. Oh yeah, just because of how the fact that both of those minigames are exactly the same thing, it depends on what Mario Party game you actually play on. So even then though, well, the biggest differences between the original Mario Party 4 than the likes of how it does it on the 3DS, the top 100 selection of minigames, is the graphical fidelity. Like, I would still say is the fact that the GameCube version did actually look a bit slightly better, to me though anyway, compared to the forms of how it does it on the 3DS's quality. Because of how the fact that, I believe, speaking of the 3DS actually, that Nintendo has now recently decided that they, when it comes to the first party titles for the 3DS, they decided able to stop doing them now, because I could assuming they may most likely focusing on Nintendo Switch right now. So why could it do it just about right now? Because even then though, according to where the actual, like, back in about a few years ago, potentially, that it did say about the fact that Nintendo 3DS were about to continue for, like, 2019 and beyond, but it wasn't. So, Blooper Pools, a new area for the actual River Survival, as you can see right there. And of course, whenever we get to the very end of this area, we need to approach it to the left rather than the right, because we need to save the actual final, blank goal space until whenever we get to the 5th part of this mode. Well, it wasn't until whenever we get to next weekend, I'm afraid, guys, because we were originally trying to able to get ourselves our next gem this weekend, but we decided able to hold up for a moment, because even then, because we need to able to go for like one particular episode per day and stuff like that, rather than just multitude of videos, unlike any likes of how it does it from the old times, from you know, in 2011 and stuff, that, as far as I've heard from you, Sonic, that you always attempt to upload a lot of videos all in one day, which to me I felt is a little bit rushed on that department, but even though that was a kind of a sensible thing to able to do this nowadays, especially if you really want to go for like, tons of views for video views department, then sure enough we can able to actually see how good the quality is. So, but we still expected that we can able to do a redo Let's Plays of Mario Parties 1 through 8, including Mario Party 2, because while the quality itself is still good, but I will say the commentary itself is really messed up, and the sound mixing is pretty damn bad. Because, like I said before, because of how the fact that, well, well, as a matter of fact, though, you can now actually hear us doing commentary in some parts like this. And joining the likes of in our Let's Play of Mario Party 2 back in 2015 or something like that. Well, it's not so bad on Mario Party 9, regrettably, though, because it just goes pretty darn well when it comes to the actual Let's Play regardless. And especially noticeable with Mario Party Island Tour back in 2014. And let's not forget to mention about Star Rush in 2017. And last year that we did done the top 100. And now for this year we are now doing Super Mario Party. So, but we still need somewhat of a halfway point at this at the moment. Just because, well, obviously we need to focusing on River Survival mode at the moment. Yeah, especially after that we can able to move on to the next mode. Even then though, you know, this is going to be a lot of busy work for this particular Let's Play at this point, because even then, just like Mario Party Star Rush, is that they have tons of modes to enjoy through. Yeah, but even then though, let's just give that a bit of a credit for the Delta Fall, because unlike in, you know, Mario Party the Top 100, well, as far as I've noticed, they did only have 7 modes, but most of the time, it just feels incredibly bare bones as you think. Like, the only highlight in the top 100 was easily the top 100 minigames themselves. And let's not forget to mention about the forms of like, oh, we got a new record. How about that? Yeah, about time to actually have ourselves our new record for once. Yep, in the Sorts of Fun minigame. So we got 11, represents the actual 11th installment of the Mario Party series like this one. Even though despite the fact that it does not call it Mario Party 11. If it's Mario Party 11, then, well, it'll be pretty much all over the place like this. Even compared to the forms of how it does it, like, even then, Mega Man does have Mega Man 11 title, and even especially noticeable with Mortal Kombat 11 does have its own title name, so yeah, you get the idea. Alright, so here we go on to Kamek's Curse, where basically Kamek is trying to able to do something to either help you, or sometimes hinder you. Like, for instance, for example, that he's now going to be able to put up with, some random obstacles all over the place, even especially noticeable with these little dash ramps, and especially noticeable with these boost pads right here. And, yeah, it can really makes you feel like, a little bit chaotic though, but even then though, it wasn't nearly as chaotic as, well, forget what I just said. But anyways though, I believe we have ourselves a different obstacle course right now, even a different, stage of any sorts, because now we've actually stumbled across the mud section from the bottom. So even then, we need to ignore that for that muddy section, because obviously if you run into the mud, then obviously you slow down temporarily. So, very obvious for that point right there. And let's give us a nice little high five thingy again, and to get ourselves even much more bigger time than everything else. Yeah, it doesn't seem like we actually playing that much minigames in this run through. Yeah, because we keep on missing those minigame balloons from the very beginning, actually, because even then we wasn't paying that much attention though. But hopefully whenever we get to tomorrow for the 4th playthrough or the 4th run of this particular mode, then we can sure enough we can able to do slightly better than before. And let's not forget about the 5th run on this mode. Well, it wasn't until when it gets to the point until next weekend. So hopefully we can get ourselves some musical notes here if we manage to able to can as it is. Well, depending of the actual like the angle and stuff like that. So okay, so let's go ahead and get these little musical notes here. And there's the, oh come on, let's see if I can, oh god. Yeah, if you get knocked by that bigger Jeeps, then it will temporarily knock you back. So you just have to pay attention to that. Oh, no. Oh, he steered too much. Oh, that's just great. But even then, I still find it really difficult to able to get that little musical notes obtained. I'm guessing the only minigame we have not played on this run was actually the Penguin Pushers. Yeah, but even then though, that's only because, again, that we missed out quite a lot of those minigame balloons. So there we go, there's our 3rd goal in River Survival mode. So even then, let's see how well we did for this particular point, until the actual detailed results is actually shown up. So, yeah, we actually did that pretty much a decent run. Not the best run, but even then though, pretty decent nonetheless. So even then though, we still reach up to like 5,000 meters, so if you manage to go through all the pathways you can go to, then basically it gets a grand total of 25,000 meters altogether. So that seems a pretty good image, especially that Koopa Troopa actually stares at the camera snapshot. So we'll give us a a capture taken on Nintendo Switch console itself. And once again, we didn't peddle as much, but nonetheless though, we've popped up 9 balloons. So that's pretty alright, I suppose. But again, not the greatest run through I've ever seemed to play through, but that I digress. So join us tomorrow for more of Let's Play of Super Mario Party. Is the fact that when it comes to River Survival Mode, is that we're about to be playing for this mode for the 4th time, but this time with a different selection of playable characters. So, see you guys tomorrow. See you guys then.